Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
$38 to 7. This is exactly what I thought would happen. Why? Well, let me tell you. The Eagles have the better quarterback. They have the better running game. They have the better wide receiving core. They have a better secondary. They have a better defensive front. They have a better offensive line. They have a better everything. This isn't the Minnesota Vikings. Let's all laugh at the fact that there were actually people out there that thought Daniel Jones would be able to do the same exact thing that he did against Minnesota here in Philadelphia. The game was over the second that it was 14-0. The first drive. Here's Jalen Hurts with the football. Drops it on a dime to one Devontae Smith. This whole entire game, I mean, there was so much that was beautiful. Jason Kelce with one hand throws a 300-pound man to the ground. Dallas Goedert, how many fantastic blocks did he make? Kenneth Gainwell had over 100 yards. When the game was completely over, I watched Josh Jobe throw a hit stick. I watched Kayvon Wallace make a big thud. It was every single player. Reed Blankenship was reading plays and in the backfield. This game was a blowout. It was dominant. Saquon Barkley looked like a nobody. Daniel Jones is throwing an interception to one James Bradbury. The most disappointing part of it all was when that interception happened, the Eagles didn't make them pay. It's not as if they didn't really respond afterwards. I mean, the Eagles to go up 21-0 to put another touchdown on the board, they went through a drive where they threw the football one time, and they still, with ease, just went down and scored. Here's how that drive went. Run for 7 yards. Run for 12 yards, run for 4 yards, run for 11 yards, run for 2 yards, run for 5 yards, run for 7 yards, pass to Goddard for 10, run for a 3-yard touchdown. The Giants had no business being on that field, and I tried to explain to you why that would happen. So many Giants fans were texting me all week long. We have a chance. No, you don't. The spread was 7.5. When you're a touchdown underdog on the road in a playoff game, now if the spread was 3, if the spread was 4, it tells you the team coming in has a chance. It doesn't automatically mean it's a W, but it means the team has a chance to compete. When it was as fat as it was, good luck. So, I'm just being objective. Monday, the initial reaction show, I was being objective. The Vikings do not have Haason Reddick. Do they have Josh Sweat on their line? Is there something that I'm missing? Because I told you that they are mean in the trenches here. I told you that there's a different type of hunger that this organization has. The point differential with Minnesota and all these one games, whatever it was, one possession games that they were winning, they were frauds. This group, not even close to fraudulent. Did you see Jalen Hurts? Lane Johnson's out there playing fantastic. He doesn't even have all of his body parts. They made a damn statement to all the national media bums, to all the crumbs that thought it was the cute, sexy little upset. Their coach, who I like in Brian Dable, down 21 4th and 6. Punted the football. They got so embarrassed. They waved the white flag. I give up. I don't want to be here anymore. Send me back up. I'll take 95. I don't care how much that toll is to go over the George Washington. I'll pay it twice. 3 times if I have to. But I can't handle this anymore. My team's bent over. That's what Brian Daboll said when he decided to punt the football. We beat them down so bad, they wanted no business of even completing the game. Sorry. This is what happens when you play a team that's this deep and this skilled throughout the entire roster. I want to be clear. Kenneth Gainwell had the most rushing yards. I'm watching Isaac Sayamalu on a 3rd and long push this man across the line. Every single detail in this game was emphasized. I want you to hear this. All right, so this is courtesy of Seth Walder. The Eagles had 33 zone read rushes for 221 yards and 2 touchdowns. They averaged 4.6 yards before contact per rush. They averaged 4.6 yards before contact per rush. This team doesn't make sense. And I didn't think the Giants were very good. Let's put that out there. But I also think that the Eagles had so much disrespect due to recency bias. Yeah, but Shane Steichen. Yeah, but Nick Sirianni. When Gardner Minshew. Jalen Hurts should be MVP of the entire league. I don't give a fuck what was happening when Gardner Minshew was in the game. I don't care that they should have helped out Gardner Minshew by running the football more against the Saints. Reality is, and I stress this a lot, when everyone wanted to go back to week 18 and Jalen Hurts didn't look good, Jalen Hurts needed some more time at that point. And how about this for all the cute, upset people? The Giants, 3rd downs. They can get off the field. The Giants, the red zone. That's an area you want to look at. Go look at those numbers. Yeah? What are they good at again? Tell me. I would love to hear. Please, bring on the knowledge. Because if you want to look at what the Eagles did, 3rd down. There's another first. Oh, you're in the red zone? Oh. Because now that Jalen Hurts is willing to actually run the football and they're able to run their offense and the playbook reopens up because he's at a healthier state, who would have known? The game looks different. Who would have known that week 18 doesn't mean shit? It's hard to beat a team 3 times, though. No, it's not. Because you're the better team when you beat them twice. And even when they met the first time this season, smoked them. The only time they didn't smoke them was when the quarterback was back for the first time in a couple weeks. And he needed some throws. That's all. That's what he was doing, throwing the football. They weren't running the same offense. They didn't need to. That's why the 2nd and 3rd stringers looked like they were actually at a reasonable rate. Now, the first teamers got exposed. Weird. Looks different against this offensive line, doesn't it? Poor Daniel Jones. There's a part of me that feels bad for him. He was running for his life. He had no business being out there. Doesn't have any help in the passing game. even when you look back at the touchdown they scored, let's look at that drive. Because if you go look at that drive, I got my UFC stuff going on here. I'm trying not to see too much because I want to go back and watch the whole UFC event tonight, even though I saw way more than I wanted to already. I thought that 38-7, I love it. It brings tears to my eyes. Tears to my eyes. Damn, where is the play-by-play? Touchdown, interception, Giants punt, Giants punt, Giants punt, Giants punt, Giants punt, Giants down, turn the ball over on downs. No, where's the... Oh, here it is. Sorry. I was just going through everything the Giants had to experience today. Their 10-play, 88-yard drive in the second... That was the second half. They milked 6 minutes off the clock to get their 7 points. Yeah, I'll take that all day. When you're down 28, it just cracks me up. It literally cracks me up thinking about what some thoughts when I was trying to tell you. I was being honest. I know I'm an Eagles fan, but I keep it 100. I'll let you know if there's a reason to be concerned. I'll let you know if there's legitimacy in something that's happening on the football field. I was removing my emotions. I was speaking strictly X's and O's. If you're an opposing team and your number one thought is heading into a matchup, any given Sunday, you know it could be crazy. I've seen wilder things happen, or you bring up an upset that blows everybody's mind with ridiculousness. That means football-wise, there's nothing that you can actually bring up on why you feel as confident as you do. Because if it was football related, you know what you'd say? Yeah, we have Dallas Goederts, and we watched Hawkinson annihilate you. Therefore, we know tight ends in general can generate success. That's why I feel good. Devontae Smith, that's why I feel good. Miles Sanders ran for 144 yards against you in the first matchup. Jalen Hurts, the quarterback, ran for 77 yards against you in the first matchup. That's why I felt as strongly as I did. That's why I thought this team could mow you down in the run game. This offensive line is the best unit we've seen. Isaac Seumalo is an afterthought. No one ever brings up his name. He'd be a number one starter on 90% of NFL football teams. And he's your last option. I'm just saying. People don't ever bring up Isaac Seumalo. That's because you have the best center in football. That's because you have the best right tackle in football. That's because Mailata is a beast. Landon Dickerson, high draft pick. You know the kid's going to be a stud if he can stay upright. No one ever mentions Isaac. You just legitimately, football-wise, knew that every single box you could check towards the Eagles. And it was so easy to see that. There wasn't even a debate. The only reason why the Giants were picked is because, well, I've seen crazier things. Well, I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have. Not this week, though. Not this week, though. The game was over at 14-0. I saw it in the eyes of every Giant. I saw it in Brian Daboll's face when he was on the sidelines. Well, Nick Sirianni cursing at the referees. I'll tell you what, man, he's a little kid. He's a little kid out there. But it was impressive what this team did, and it was a reminder. It's recency bias is what it is, because the Eagles are so good that they didn't need to play. And the last time you saw this team healthy, it wasn't week 18, it wasn't week 17, and it wasn't week 16. So the last time you saw this team healthy, would that put them at the Chicago game? I'm just spitballing off the top of my head. I forget. Maybe it's the Chicago game was the last time you saw them legitimately full throttle, right? So because of that, You see the Giants play a team that's in the same tier as them. I'm not talking win total. I'm talking actual football once again. They're in the same tier. Nice for the Giants. But what did I tell you? I said that I need to see Nick Sirianni and Jonathan Gannon do what Bruce Arians and drawing a blank, head coach of the Bucs now. Come on. Coach the Jets. Why am I calling? Well, I'm literally calling a huge blank. Come on. This is bad. Come on. It's right there. It's on the tip of my tongue. The tip of my... Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles. I need to see Sirianni and Gannon do exactly what Todd Bowles and Bruce Arians did to them last year. And they made a statement and a reminder to everybody out there that you forgot about us because Gardner Minshew had to play a couple weeks. This is who we really are. This is the Eagles football team that when you went through that outstanding stretch of great football, Tennessee, the Giants the first time, the team that was putting their foot on the gas and choking teams out, we're back. We're back. What a surprise. It happens when the quarterback returns. It's amazing, isn't it? Okay, what we're going to do is take some calls. I want to hear from you all. This is just truly insane. I loved it. I loved it. It was so bad for the Giants. I got bored. And I wouldn't want it any other way. I went to my buddy's place, had some cold ones, ripped through some pizza and wings, right? We're high-fiving Haason, Reddick, Josh Sweat making statements early on. The Eagles' defense being absurd. The place was electric. Third quarter, couple minutes to go. We're talking about how the Flyers won 2-1. I mean, the Giants were so out of this that during the NFC Divisional round, we were talking about the Philadelphia Flyers. Okay. All right. I just want to let you know. That was the dialogue. Clock keeps ticking away. Tick, 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 tick. As they're on their way to hosting another NFC Championship game. Now, we just wait. We wait and see. Who's it going to be? I don't care. Do you want the 49ers, bros? Would you want it to be Dallas? Another division rival? I don't care. Beating up on Dallas would be awesome. Purdy coming into this building would be a whole new life for him. That San Fran schedule down the stretch, this is a conversation for another day. But that San Fran schedule down the stretch, it's not this. Okay? It's not this. But you know I'm big on reading lines. +4 Dallas tells me they have a chance to win that game out in San Fran. Doesn't mean they will, but I like that +4 number. We'll see what happens. But that's more of a tomorrow thing. Right now, I'm just laughing. Boston Scott gets his touchdown. It's exactly what I thought was going to happen. If you're big on TikTok, which I think 99% of the world is these days, you know how bad those comment sections are. I see them. I don't ever really read them. I just get the notifications and see the nonsense on my little activity feed. Whew. There's going to be a lot of unhappy people tonight. I'm going to bookmark this one. I'm going to save this one. Yeah? I hope you did save it. And I want you to come back. Losers. Anyway, let's take some phone calls, shall we? Let's do it.
Bros, the Eagles let the Giants know early that this ain't the Minnesota Vikings that you're playing against. Put your pom-poms back in the trunk and get back up on I-95 and go home, boys. Because this is the Eagles team that started out 13-1, especially offensively. And hopefully the coaches can take away from what I hope they can take away from this is no matter if we win the toss or not, let's get the ball, give it to our offense, and put the pressure on the defense, opposing team's defense early. And then another thing, get rid of those receiver screens. A couple of them hit, but they're not worth it. Throw the ball downfield to AJ and to Devontae.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to stop it there. I want them to incorporate screens. I don't care if they have the ball first or second, because the alternative is, let's say, if the other team gets the ball first and Haason Reddick is putting you behind the sticks and it's 2nd and 13 to start the game and the place is going nuts and people who have been at the stadium since 10 a.m. buying wings tickets just to go tailgate longer so they can set up their grill and start funneling beers and shotgunning on one knee. You can do the same thing. You can make that atmosphere wild. You could get that place off their feet. You could get that place rocking on level 10 million with your defense. I don't care if it's the offense. I don't care if it's the defense. It doesn't matter. You know why? This team is just as explosive on both sides of the ball. You can put pressure on a team in the first drive with your defense by putting them behind the sticks and saying, go ahead, kid. It's 3rd and long, baby. Let's go. Bring it. Go smack their quartermouth in the jaw from the 3rd snap of the game. It doesn't matter. This team has 9 different layers to it. This team has 15 different studs. And when I say 15, I meant 52. So I don't care. I don't care how they do it. I don't care if it's the beginning of the game. I don't care if they throw wide receiver screens. I ain't nitpicking shit today. Because when they put it all together in a game, there's going to be a play call that maybe the other team sniffs out, or a play call that another team does. When I tell you I have 0 complaints, I got 0 complaints. A wide receiver screen? That thought, lack thereof, I would have never thought about it for 1 second in my life. Not for 1 second of my life would I have thought about a wide receiver screen tonight. I promise you that. All right, we'll take another call.
Let's go, Birds. Bury those Giants. I mean, let's be honest. Is this really much surprising? It may be a big blowout, but we obviously have higher aspirations than this. We're contenders. This is what contenders do. But to those Eagle haters and Giants fans, y'all should have put the second stringers in the second half. It might have been a closer game. Anyway, let's go, Birds.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I told you, the coach quit. So it doesn't even matter who they had out there. He knew. In what world are you punting the football down 21 points on 4th and 6? Who cares if you turn it over on downs? Who cares if the Eagles score another touchdown? It doesn't matter how bad you lose. And guess what? Another tutty by the Birds, I'm just saying. If the score happened to be, what would it be? I'm just saying, if you had 7 more points to the finishing touch, 45-7 or 38-7, does it matter? Does your franchise think any better or think any different about it? I will say I'm having a fantastic time watching New Yorkers debate on if this was a successful season or not. Oh, it was feeling so good, but because it was such a painful loss, I don't really care about the Giants whatsoever. But watching the turmoil, the debates, people getting all angry about each other. What do you do with Daniel Jones? What do you do with Saquon Barkley? Oh, what do we do here? What do we do there? Whatever it is, I guarantee, even with your nice new coaching staff, you're going to have a difficult time competing with the Eagles. It's every year. Even when the times were going a bit tough with this franchise. The first year with Dougie P, 7-9, the whole debacle with the trade and then Carson Wentz, and it was the first season with the new regime, but I'm just saying, even there were just times throughout with the Doug Peterson stuff and, towards the end with Chip Kelly, there was some ugliness at times. But I say this a lot. When some things don't go as smoothly as you would like, whether it's a trade, whether it's missing a free agent, whether it's a certain draft pick, breathe. Because this is what I do know. And it's not because we're fans and we say this every single year. There is legitimacy to feeling like you could do some serious damage every single summer. Every summer. As OTAs get going, as everyone shows up for training camp, as you start those preseason games that became pretty much useless. Every year we go, they can win the division. And there's meaning behind it. We don't just say it just because we can say it. We say it because this organization is in phenomenal hands. Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman, they do, and it's been throughout. So many. Andy Reid was a nobody. Now Andy Reid is one of the best coaches in NFL history. His tenure here. Chip Kelly, it turned into a disaster, but you were winning 10 games 2 years in a row, winning double-digit games. Still something to that. Gave him too much power, but there was something to that. It's funny, the one guy who was the known guy was the one that ended up being the biggest weirdo and the biggest bust of them all. With just ridiculousness. But Dougie P, Nick Sirianni, the common trend here is they just give you serious opportunities every single year. And here we are, ho-hum, hosting another NFC Championship game. It's incredible. This franchise, the success that they have had for years and years and years and years now. We take it for granted, I believe. You only got the one Super Bowl, so that's the focus. I get it. You want to win the Super Bowl. But every year, they are a serious contender to win that division. And it's just ridiculous. Anyway, we'll take another call.
Broads, man, what a joy that was to watch. Absolutely destroyed them. That was amazing. So happy to get out there and show everybody who we are. So ready for the next opponent. I don't want to hear anything this week about who the Eagles are. That's who we are. And I know the Giants are trash, but this is what good teams do. They show trash who they are. Can't wait for next week. Can't wait for the Super Bowl. I'm so ready. Go Birds, man. I love it.
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting, right? Because there were a lot of teams. Kansas City is a bit different, though, because you watched Pat Mahomes have the sprained ankle and all that stuff, which played a role in everything. But even they had a tougher time putting away the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were in control, but it wasn't a big-time blowout. When you go back to the wild card round, Cincinnati playing Baltimore with the backup, Miami on their third stringer. All these teams have trouble. All these teams, not trouble per se, but let's be honest. We knew that certain teams were significantly better than their opponent, but the other team hangs in there. That's normally what happens at this time of the year, even with the team like the Giants. The Giants aren't the worst team in the history of the NFL, but the Eagles are so damn good they made it look that way. The Eagles were so ready to play that they forced the Giants to look like a team that could beat the Houston Texans. That's the separation. That's how deadly they are. The focus level, the attention to detail, and the locker room. Teams don't have Jason Kelce. Teams don't have Lane Johnson. I'm not even talking about what they do on the field. That's a given. That's an obvious statement. But there's a different way of going about business at this time of the year. And even for the young cool cat in Hurts, too, because his calmness and his poise, and I'm sure you all seen the clips of him speaking to the team leading up to the week, talking about how hungry he is. He doesn't really need to inspire anyone. You should all know what this moment is. Just the way he carries himself. So you have that swag, on top of the dudes that have won a championship in this city before and who have played in a lot of meaningful games here in Philadelphia. You have to know how to do this. This time of the year is different. That bye week in the playoffs, it's different. The self-evaluation. And then also evaluating the opposition. And doing both the proper amount of time. And just the way you show up every day. Mentally, physically. Getting yourself prepared. Man, it's January. It's late January. You've been through hell. Your body hurts. You've been without your quarterback. And you go out and do that. Like I said, a lot of these games have been close because at this time of the year, that's how it goes, even if there is a difference in teams. Normally, there's still something to be said on one of those teams who are definitely weaker than the rest, still battling throughout those 4 quarters. Part of it is the Giants aren't as good as Giants fans thought they were. But still, I'm sure there were a lot that thought they'd give them more. The reason they couldn't is because of what the Eagles are capable of doing when they are at their best. And today, they were at their best. And they're at their best a lot more than they're not. Hence why with this starting quarterback, they've one loss this season. They're 15-1 with this quarterback. Think about those odds. Yeah, but it only takes one game. But when you play 16 games with this quarterback and you win 15 of them, that's a large sample size. That's telling me something, okay? And I'm taking a lot of pride in what he's able to do and his results because it's special. And I'm excited to see this team do it all again in 1 week. Same spot, same time. All right. That's where we're wrapping things up. Those are my initial thoughts after today's game. There's so many anytime hotline calls. There's so much we're going to continue to talk about this week with the Eagles. And let me just make sure. Okay, that is... All right, I don't want to use the same calls next time, so I deleted the ones we used. Thank you all. Love you. You're the best. Go Birds.